What's going on, everybody? John here with you. It is Monday, October 14th. How's everybody doing out there today? For those that say, and thankfully there isn't any of you, and again, it might just because I don't have a lot of subscribers, that I don't review any recent games, Astro Bot, the PS5 exclusive, was released this year in 2024 on September 6th. Here is a review of Astro Bot, and I'm not going to waste any time. For those that want a platformer, those that want a Christmas gift, a stocking stuffer, if you just got a PS5, you're getting a PS5 Pro. If you loved Astro's Playroom, the pack-in game, which I gush so much about when getting a PlayStation in launch in November of 2020. Well, now Astro Bot is here. It's the full-length game, essentially, of Astro's Playroom, and it's a 10 out of 10. Team Asobi has struck gold yet again. Astro Bot Rescue Mission, Astro's Playroom, the variety of games they made, and now Astro Bot, the latest sequel. This game is perfection. Not only is it utter platforming bliss, it's also PlayStation's greatest strength because it showcases everything from PS1 to PS5, all the exclusives, all the PlayStation lore in the form of bots that Mr. Astro has to go ahead and rescue because he's going to rescue all of his buddies, all 300 of them. You're going to see 301, the secret. So what you'll see a little bit in this game is some gameplay. You'll see some of the time trial type missions where you have to have a perfected run. You'll see the final mission of the game, but I won't spoil, and that's just the final secret mission. I won't spoil the actual final mission with all the lore. I won't spoil all of the secret levels that are inside the game that have to do with PlayStation franchises. It is just fantastic. Again, we talked about Astro's Playroom before, and that was a tech demo. And what do we also love about the PS5? The DualSense controller, the feature, the haptic feedback. When you're actually walking on surfaces, if you're walking on glass, marbles, you're feeling water, you're hearing a gush from the speakers, you're feeling the rain tap on Astro's body and the robot body. When you take pictures, you happen to get some good pictures and some not so good ones, especially if you're a janitor right there in your Astro. But there is a lot to do. There is a lot to witness. There's a lot to sense, a lot to feel and see. When you play this game, you're going to feel every type of emotion. You're going to laugh. You're probably going to cry a little bit at the ending. Again, maybe just soft tears, but it is going to touch your heartstrings. You're going to have everything. And what I really like about this game is it takes all of your time seriously. If you're going to get the Platinum Trophy in Astro Bot, and again, in post-production, that'll be another one of those pictures that I have to throw in there in the screenshot of the video. But you'll go ahead and see that this game is about 20 hours long. It could be a little bit less. Again, this last mission that you're seeing right now for the secret portion, when you collect everything, took me maybe an hour and 10 minutes, all things told, to try to get it perfected in one run. You know how much easier save states make things nowadays. You got to do this all in one go. But it's very rewarding. And then the other thing that brings me into this game as well. When you're talking about platforming, you also talk about control, don't you, for the most part? You know, you've heard about Naughty Dog and Crash Bandicoot, some of these other platformers, eating that stuffed crust pizza backwards in 1997. Again, you got some fond memories of that. But in Astro Bot, when you die, it's essentially your fault because all of the controls are essentially pristine. Yes, you may have the occasional hiccup in the camera, or maybe an inspection to adjust, and that it just didn't do it. Happened to do one time out of 1,000 that you end up playing a stage. It's going to happen sometimes. Nothing is going to be utterly perfect, but this game is about as perfect as it gets. So while I can't spoil all the 300 bots, 300 plus that you will see in this game, what I can tell you is it's in a multitude of franchises that you would expect to see them in. What I specifically liked, again, as one of my favorite franchises as a teenager, was the Resident Evil series. And I almost said Silent Hill 2 because that game just came out. But Resident Evil series, with the sense of if you get to the crash site, you will go ahead and see some of your bots and you can interact with them. When you end up getting them goodies in the Gotcha Lab, that might unlock a few little secret animations that you can interact those Resident Evil characters with, and you might see Jill with the typewriter, or Claire trying to open up doors, or Leon having a tough day on the job as it was his birthday and he's a new recruit. There's a lot of loving detail. There's a lot of loving detail to all the characters and the individual specialized stages. Hell, I didn't think we were going to get, I'll spoil one, I didn't think we were going to get a Loco Roco stage, for those that remember that game. Again, they're good friends from Team Asobi. But there's individual specialized stages, there's a whole ton of personality. The controls are tight, the music is fantastic, and there's a great respect to everything in the PlayStation lobby. There is one serious omission as far as franchises, which I was ultimately disappointed that one company did not choose to put those characters in the game, but that is not the fault of Team Asobi. You can only do what you can do. So as far as what you're going to have in this game in traversal, so you open up, the story is about as easy as you like. You want to be Astro and you rescue your mates, but you're also repairing the PlayStation 5. That's pretty cool that you get a chance to interact with the processing chip, the cooling fan, everything else. You end up putting it together. You fight bosses all the way through. It has each individualized patterns. Again, for the bosses, you will get a couple extra lives to play with if you die. You can start right back from a couple of lives, but usually it's all systems go. You go ahead, you jump into a level, you find your bots, you find some puzzle pieces, you put those together, you get all the puzzle pieces, you get new places to explore inside your crash site, and then getting all your bots will unlock you to get to the other areas, and you'll have a boss fight and everything else in between. Now, what you're seeing on the screen right now is Aegis from Persona 3, which I thought was pretty cool, so they really threw all those in there, and if you're guessing Persona, you're going to guess correctly. I won't say the rest. But it is pretty cool to go ahead and see all of these from the different franchises in the format the way it is, because sometimes you have those bite-sized stages, you got some trials that you need to complete in one go, you have stages that are also open-ended, which you can go ahead and traverse to your own liking till you get to your ultimate goal. And there's also warp zones, like Mario Brothers and things like that. I think a Super Mario World that will take you to different areas once you get through that warp zone. Again, be reminded that if you go ahead and jump to that warp zone, you're going to have to go ahead and complete the stage that you were on previously if you have not done so already. So there's a good variety in all the missions, and I like the different boosts that Astro can get and different machines that he can use. As the frog that punches gloves, you still have the monkey that can climb the vines, you have a chicken that gives you a super jump and lays eggs, you can freeze time. There's a whole bunch of different ones you can do, and each stage has its own gimmick, and nothing is overdone. Everything, I think, is to the utmost respect and care as far as level design. And in this game, as you get your 4K and your 60, on this side for Astro Bot, it's pretty much unblemished as far as instant loading again from the SSD. And yes, we still have that song from Astro's Playroom, and I love it. But instant loading, complete traversal to each area, lovingly crafted in detail, and everything is thoughtful in its design with a fantastic music score on top of it. Again, I mentioned this as a tech demo in Astro's Playroom when it launched in 2020. Again, that's on all of your PS5, whether Pro and all that. That's a free packaged in tech demo. But I thought even Astro's Playroom was probably the best thing to ever release on the console. That's no disrespect to a lot of the good games that we've already had, but I just think Astro and all that glory is in a complete different level. This is what you want platforming for, and if you want to have a game that's designed for all ages to enjoy, again, it's fun, and that's the whole point of playing these games. Now, there is a lot to talk about in the sense of this. You also had Final Fantasy VII Rebirth released this year, and some people were upset that Astro Bot got a higher score than Rebirth did. Well, I think you go back to the point where, again, Rebirth is a great game. It was bunched by a bunch of mini games. We did a review of that, and I still gave it an 8 out of 10. But simply put, when you're playing Astro Bot, it's hard not to have a smile on your face, and it's all about fun. You're going to completely enjoy yourself, and you'll be immersed in the entire 20 hours, and you're not going to want it to stop. This is also one of the games that's also pretty fun as far as trying to get a platinum trophy. You can get everything done in a reasonable time. You can be like me a little bit and go to some of the areas and say, hey, I can't find this certain bot, or go to this certain place. I know it's there, I just can't find it. Well, you can end up going ahead and saying, hey, I'm just going to look at a little bit of a background and figure out where I need to go, and you can do that. Again, nothing is too terribly difficult, but when you need a challenge in some of the areas, you can definitely get that provided to you. And please hold on to your copy of the game because you're going to be getting free DLC down the road, and that might include some of those characters that were not in the game that I think that should have been, or at least hope will be at some point. So I know I have about 2 more minutes left to go in this review, but as I said with Astro's Playroom, it was utter perfection, and this game is a 10 out of 10. And honestly, between like Octopath Traveler 2, again I got Silent Hill 2 upcoming, I do have a copy, I got to get to run through it. That'll probably be my next review, hopefully before I go on vacation sometime next month. And then when I come back on that end, I will not be able to get the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake at that point, but Silent Hill 2 will be the next. So I was glad to get a couple quick reviews in before the turn of the next calendar year. This is a game that cannot be missed, and I utterly recommend it. And again, it's a lot easier to recommend because even though Doki Doki was a great game, it's got too many mature themes. This is a completely different front. So if you're getting a PS5 Pro for the first time, you're trying to get a PlayStation, all that, you're going to get a PS5, buy this game outright. You will not be disappointed. Everything is done in loving detail. Now you see the Gacha Lab here. You can go ahead, when you collect all of your guys, go ahead and use all the coins that you got left over. Now for the Gacha Lab and everything else, I did all the stages and everything first and had a whole bunch of coins left over that I can go ahead and scroll through all the statues and figure out different things. So once you pop back out, that's when you can start interacting with your crew. Try to punch them a little bit and also interact with them. You might unlock some trophies. You're going to see some pretty cool things on that side too. So interact with the new things that you see and have a great time when you play this game because, again, at 20 hours, this might be one of those ones that you beat a world because there's like 5 or 6 different ones mixed in with some of the small areas. You know, stop, go on to something else, and then come back to it the next day. So kind of branch that experience out. You could do it all in one go. You could beat it in a weekend, but enjoy your time and take your time with it because it's awesome.